Hello everybody, and this is another episode of Skymods of the Week, where I review only the best mods available. Each week I test many mods exhaustively, and only the ones that are stable, practical, and easy to install make the final cut. This week we're going to cover 4 mods. They are Enhanced Blood Textures, RCRN, Realistic Colors and Real Knights, Skyrim Flora Overhaul, and JaySuS Swords. Alright, so let's begin with the first mod. It's called Enhanced Blood Textures, and it's written by DDefiner, and it's available on nexusmods.com, and looks like 250,000 downloads. It's a fairly stable mod, and people seem to like it. I tested it quite extensively. In fact, I found one scene with plenty of blood spatter on the ground, and I also fight a troll in this scene, so you can see some of the screen spatter. So we'll take a look at the before and after versions of that same scene now. And by the way, this is a manual install, so you kind of have to be careful what you're doing. Once you download it, you just extract the entire data folder right into your Skyrim directory, which will also have a data folder. And you just have to be careful what you're doing in there. Make sure you're okay replacing any other textures that you might have already placed into that data folder. Okay, now let's take a look at the before and after shots. Alright, so here's the vanilla version of Skyrim Blood, and it looks very gooey in the vanilla version, and it's a low res texture, and you can tell just how bad it looks. The specularity makes it look even worse, actually. And then I just chopped that troll up a little bit. There, now I'm spawning a troll, and you'll get to see some of what the screen spatter looks like. Well, you know what it looks like. It's just those ugly faded red dots on the screen. It just, this hardly even feels like blood in some regards. Okay, now here's the enhanced blood textures. So you can tell how much better it looks already. Some of it's a little blurry, but it definitely looks a hell of a lot better, and it's a significant improvement. Even the blood spatter on the ground is a little bit better. Now let's spawn the troll, and then you'll see what the screen spatter looks like. In fact, you might, if you're following my Skyrim walkthrough, you might have noticed that the screen spatter is different. There it is right there. And it's a little more immersive. It just looks better all in all. Alright, so let's rate the mod. First of all, it gets only 1 diamond for installation because it's a manual install and it doesn't support the Nexus Mod Manager at all. There aren't any configuration options unless you decide to mod the mod itself. So it's perfectly stable with no reports of increased crashes due to the mod. And finally, it has a decent wow factor because you'll be seeing the blood and spatters constantly throughout the game. So, on a scale of 1 to 3, Enhanced Blood Textures gets a 1-word shout. Poof! Alright, now let's move on to the second mod. It's called RCRN, which stands for Realistic Colors and Real Knights. The author is Allah, and I actually worked with him because I wanted this to work on my in my game, and I couldn't get it to work with my MSI Afterburner, which is my little statistics overlay. It overlays my GPU temperature and my frames per second in my game. We never did get it to work, but nevertheless, it is a very good mod, and it's one of the best color enhancers, and it's also one of the best mods for darkening your nights. It doesn't use the E and B series enhancers, which I think is good. It's a good thing. He uses hybrid shaders, premium FXAA, and like a double pass HDR. So what I also like about this is that he includes a automatic installation as an executable file, and in addition to that, there's an easy one-click uninstall program that he adds when you install this. So it does I don't know if it supports Nexus Mod Manager, but it doesn't really matter because the installation is so easy. It's a simple one click, and then you just choose one of 4 options. So it's also customizable. And you choose one of your options. I just left the default installation. You can change how much it affects the the final result or the final picture. And he gives you the instructions right here. The files are, I think there's only 2. You can download the auto installer, which is really easy to install, and then you can download the manual installer. Now, really quick, if you do use the auto installer, there's only one little thing you have to remember. When you go to install it, okay, run. Yeah, sure. This is the installation right here. Here, let's clear this out. It explains what it's going to do, and then I just selected classic, which is what you're going to see in the before and after shots in a moment. You have to click agree, and then this path is wrong for most of us. The only thing you have to do is you have to find your actual Skyrim path, which is usually, like, for most of us PC users, it'll be Steam Apps Common, and Skyrim, and then just copy that path and then just paste it right in there, and then that's the correct installation right there. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at some before and after shots. Okay, so this first scene is the vanilla Skyrim right about at dawn. And you should be familiar with how this looks. Now, this is the same scene with RCRN, enhanced colors. It looks a little bit more realistic, and the colors stand out a little bit more. Now, here's another vanilla scene just 2 hours later, and then I'm going to show you the same scene with RCRN. This is the enhanced version. And actually, look up at the clouds. You can see a significant difference. I mean, the clouds stand out more. Pretty much everything in the sky stands out a bit more, too. And now I'm going to show you how RCRN enhances the night shots. Now, this is the vanilla Skyrim, which hardly even feels like nighttime. Most of us will agree with that. And then here's the same scene with RCRN. It's much darker. The night sky comes out more. The moons come out more. And it really feels like night. Kind of forces you to use a torch like we're doing now, and it really enhances that atmosphere, and it even alters the way that you role play because it's much darker. Now let's rate it. So RCRN gets a full 3 diamonds for its easy installation program and for its very simple one-click uninstall feature. It comes with 4 configuration options, and even though I had compatibility problems with the mod, it is stable and it only slightly affects your frame rate. Finally, it has a lasting wow factor since it will visually enhance every scene in your game. So from 1 to 3, RCN gets 2 shouts.
Boost, roll!
Now, the third mod that we're going to install is the Skyrim Flora Overhaul. This one is a very popular one, 188,000 unique downloads. The author is Vert. I think this is his only one. He's also done some work in Morrowind too. The reason I think it's important to use this is because Flora actually occupies a significant part of all of your views in Skyrim in most cases, so there's no reason not to enhance it, right? So this adds higher res textures to many trees and many bushes and many types of ingredients that you can pick. It is a manual installation, but it's fairly straightforward. You just have to unzip it and then drop it into your Skyrim folder, just like you would most other manual installations. Okay, let's take a look at some before and after shots of Skyrim Flora Overhaul. Okay, so this isn't the best before and after shot, but you can see how the plants look a little skimpy, and there's not as many branches as there should be, and it makes the whole landscape feel a little sparse. But there, you can see the difference already, like in that brown branch below. And this is a little fuller. The ivy is looks a little better. Now I'm going to show you another vanilla version. This is, I'm not sure which tree that is, but you can see that this tree is a little skimpy. It actually looks like it's half dead. Now here's the same aftershot with Skyrim Flora Overhaul, and you can see that the branches and pretty much everything, even the textures on the bark, are enhanced. Now this, I don't have a before shot of this. This is with Skyrim Flora Overhaul, and you can see the fall forest is actually the best place to view the enhanced version. There's more variation in the colors in the aspen trees, and look at these, the evergreens look significantly better too. Okay, so let's rate Skyrim Flora Overhaul. First of all, the installation is only manual, but it's a fairly straightforward one. There's not much to configure, but because they're just textures, it's generally stable, although it does eat up a lot more of your GPU's memory, so you do need a good graphics card for this. Finally, the wow factor is moderate since it will enhance any scene with dense foliage. And from a scale of 1 to 3, Skyrim Flora Overhaul gets a 2-word shout.
Boost, roll!
Okay, and let's move on to the last mod for this week, which is JaySuS Swords. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but the author is JaySuS. This is a very creative mod. He adds I think roughly 40 swords to the smithing interface. You do need certain ingredients to craft each of these, but you can craft any of these weapons if you add this mod. Here's some Argonian blades, which I think is pretty cool, like reptilian skinned swords. There's a jade blade, and I think I show you the jade blade in the video that I'm going to show you in a minute. The installation is manual, and he doesn't support Nexus Mod Manager installation, but all in all, it's a really cool mod, and I do recommend it. Now let's go into the game and I'll show you some of the swords. Okay, so to have fun with this mod, you actually need to use the blacksmith forge anywhere. Once you enter the interface, I found all of them in the steel category. There's the regular stuff in the other categories, but all of the new swords and weapons are in the steel category. So there's like there's the Argonian battle blade, and then the regular Argonian blade. I'm going to I'm actually going to create this, and then there's a few others like the Dragon Sting Dagger and the Dragon Sting Sword. You need dragon bones or dragon scales for those. So there's a Crusader Sword, Gilded Norse Sword. Just really interesting stuff. Here's a Jade Blade right here. You need 4 emeralds, and I do have those. I kind of pumped myself full of these ingredients so I could craft them, but I'll show you the Jade Sword in a minute. There's a Magnificent Sword, which I think is pretty cool. Make that too. Shiavana, that's interesting. And I think that's all. And then the rest of them are just the regular vanilla Skyrim weapons and armor. Okay, so now I'll show you a couple of those weapons. Here's the Jade Blade that requires emeralds. And if you notice, these swords generally just do a moderate amount of damage, and JaySuS did that intentionally just to keep things balanced. Here's the Magnificent Sword. And really, it's more for aesthetic purposes than anything, but it adds a nice variety to your hacking and slashing instead of using the same sword every time. Alright, so let's rate JaySuS Swords. First of all, the installation is only manual, again, requiring a drag and drop, but he does state that he doesn't support the mod managers at this time. Now, the creative direction is very impressive, as he handcrafted all of the meshes and the textures. And it's stable and integrates very well into the smithing interface. And finally, the wow factor just really depends on how often you use his swords. So on a scale of 1 to 3, JaySuS Swords gets a 2-word shout.
Boost, roll!
Well, that's all for this episode, and I hope you enjoyed Skymods of the Week. Let me know in a comment if you tried any of these mods and how they ran, or even suggest a mod for the next episode. And if you like this, then subscribe to my channel to get this series and my Skyrim walkthrough in your inbox, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.